Looking at River Murray Netball now on the Friday night sports show, and this is one of our few leagues where we've still got a round to play before finals, so every team still involved, and Hannah Lollett joins me on the line to run through all the action. How are you, Hannah?
Yeah, good, Dan. Always a pleasure to catch up with you each week.
And it's a pleasure to have you here each week. Let's get into last week's results because there were a couple of pretty significant ones. And we'll start off with the big one, which was the Mallee Storm getting a 2-goal win over Mannum.
Yeah, so we did pick this as a bit of an upset win last week, and interestingly, it came through. I think Storm hit the court with, great intensity. And they were there ready to play and knew their season depended on it. And so they got that first quarter by 7 goals. And then from there, Mannum just was trying to peg them back. They slowly pegged back, but couldn't actually make up that 7-goal difference that Storm put on the scoreboard. So scoreboard pressure and intensity got them. Abby Pake, who's got another nickname as Netball Barbie, played fabulously well in goal shooter. For Mannum, their mid-quarter Gemma Woolard played really well, but great win to the Storm, and they were pretty excited and are eyeing off next week.
Let's get into some of our other games. The Ramblers had a tight win over Taylor Bend, 45-42.
Yeah, this was a really seesaw game, ebbs and flows. It was tight. It sort of could have gone either way, but Ramblers, I think the real game changer for Ramblers was Lucinda Howe. She ran their centre and she just picked off some passes and turnovers that made that 3-goal difference. Ramblers also had Rachel Farmer played a really influential good match in wing defence. For Taylor, they had young shooter Sophie Edwards came in for her first full game of A grade. And Sophie's the younger sister of a gun shooter, Mel Edwards, and they play a very similar style. So it was great to see her get some A-grade court time. And Tilly Hughes, even though she played against Lucinda Howe, she played a really good game of centre as well. But, yep, Ramblers girls get the win.
Well done to the Ramblers girls, and our other 2 games were blowouts. There's no other way to put it, really. It was the top 2 teams getting the wins and the bottom 2 getting the losses in those ones. So it was the Imperials 83 over Jervois 16 and Maipo 67 over the Coorong Cats 20.
Yeah, so for Imps, there was absolutely no mercy. Intensity from the first half, and they're going into a bye, so this is their last match that they will play before finals. They certainly did not take any heat out of their game, and I think Lucy Harkness was playing her 200th game for Imps, and Lucy's a fabulous high-intensity defender and also picks up the whistle and umpires, and so the girls certainly played their hearts out for her.
All right, well done to Lucy playing the 200th there. So that is round 17 done and dusted. And like I said, we've got one round to go. So let's take a look at the round 18 action. And it's kicking off with the Mallee Storm taking on the Coorong Cats. And the Mallee Storm, with a win here, can lock in a final spot.
Yeah, so last time these met, it was a bit of a blowout, 62-19. And unless something major happens, I think it could be fairly similar. Game's going to be played at Karoonda, and it's Ladies' Day and there's fireworks at night, so there'll be plenty of action off the court. Storm won't be hosting a final this year, so they'll look to make this last home game a pretty big one. And if they lock in that win, that'll lock them into a date with Mannum next Sunday in our final series. River Murray Netball runs a little bit of a different final series to the football. So netball runs top 4, football runs a more traditional top 5. So our finals will be played like next Saturday, Sunday, and then the following 2 Saturdays. So we're all done and dusted in the 3-week schedule.
So top 4 playing finals in a 9-team league. That is quite unforgiving, especially when the top 2 teams only have one loss each. It creates a real logjam in the middle of the table there. But nevertheless, that's going to be a great final series, and a rematch between the Mallee Storm and Mannum after last week's game would be a great spectacle, no doubt. The Southern Suns are sitting in 5th, so if the Mallee Storm do drop the ball and lose that game, the Suns can overtake them technically, but it's a big ask. They're playing Mannum at Mannum.
Yeah, mathematically possible still. But Suns will be playing for, I guess their pride and that chance of a win. I hear Nicole McMahon might have made a little trip down to Cats training and put something in the water down there with the hope that bolsters them for their game against the Storm. But, yeah, I think Mannum, they won't be happy to have lost that game, although lost, never hurts to lose and get back that intensity coming into finals because it hasn't put them out of the race. But, yeah, their coach, Ros, will be looking to have them hit the court with intensity. And I think last time they played, it was a 1-goal difference. I think Mannum might have the wood over the Suns this time by a few more.
Sometimes it's just the loss you have to have, so we'll see how that plays out for Mannum. And in our last 2 games, Maipo taking on Tailem Bend should be a pretty big win for Maipo as they head into finals in good form.
Yeah, last time they played Tailem, it was 26-58. I'm thinking that Tailem will be hoping that they score 30 goals or more, and they'll be hoping to restrict Maipo to under 60 as well. So I think the Tailem girls are, they might have almost switched over to thinking about their netball trip at the end of the year. The Tailem girls run a pretty famous weekend away in October, which is well attended by a lot of people in their club, and normally the best on-court performance is done by a gorgeous old 80-year-old soul called Raylene Ellis. So it's an inclusive netball trip, and I think that's what they might be thinking about on Saturday, and Maipo will make their way to the finals with only the 1 loss for the year.
Never too early to start thinking about netball trip. Of course, I've never been on a netball trip myself, but I've heard stories, so I'm sure that will be a great time for all of them. Even with old Raylene in tow, I think she'll be the life of the party, in fact. And we've got one last game, Jervois and the Ramblers. So both teams sitting on 3 wins for the year. One of them will end up with a 4th win for the year and the bragging rights over the other.
Yeah, so I've seen these teams both up close in the last couple of weeks. Last time they played, Jervois was 49 to Ramblers 40. Jervois has been missing Skyisha Rigney, who's a great little attacker who gives them a lot of drive in the last few weeks. I think Ramblers might turn the tables and get this one and finish the season off with a win, but I think it'll be under 5-goal difference for that one.
And just before we wrap up, Hannah, the Cats last week in their game against Maipo, it was their cultural immersion game. Can you tell us a little bit about all of that? They didn't get the result they wanted, but yeah, just tell us how the day went.
It was not so much on the Saturday, but on the Sunday. So on the Saturday, they had their game against Maipo. Maipo had a good win. But the Cats as a club has got an amazing leadership team, and they had coordinated and took the football and netball leadership team out to Ralcan, which is a community out on the Narung Peninsula, and had the afternoon with Clyde Rigney Senior, who's a really respected Narrandjeri man. They reflected on that ability of sport to unite and uplift and took away about that positivity and positive change in being an inclusive club. It's a huge shout out to the Cats for taking that initiative, spending a Sunday and taking that moment to reflect on the rich history of the culture that surrounds that community.
Great stuff by the Coorong Cats there. We'll wrap things up there, Hannah. 1 week to go in River Murray Netball. Things are heating up and looking forward to seeing who grabs that last final spot. It's there for the Mallee Storm to take, so we'll see how they go this weekend. Thanks for joining me, Hannah. We'll chat again next week ahead of the first week of finals.
Thanks, Dan.